News that's just coming in months after we saw a Canada's Nijjar-India link allegation which was being made by none other than Justin Trudeau. Indian Envoy now has said that Canada needs to produce evidence that it was New Delhi who was behind the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. The Indian Envoy to Canada says that the probe into Nijjar killing is being tainted. India's High Commissioner to Canada, Mr. Sanjay Kumar Verma, has reiterated New Delhi's stand on the diplomatic standoff with Canada and has urged Ottawa to release evidence backing up the allegations that they have made regarding the killing of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. My colleague Gaurav is now joining me on the phone line. Gaurav, the Indian diplomat, the Indian envoy, very clearly saying that whatever you are saying, you now need to produce evidence that it was in fact the government in Delhi and New Delhi behind the killing of Nijjar.
There are two very pertinent points that are being made by India's envoy to Canada. One, the probe is now tainted. The allegations that have been leveled at the behest of a high-ranking official have tainted the probe, which means truth may never emerge in this case. Canada leveled all these allegations, and that too at the level of the Canadian Prime Minister, with no solid evidence having been shared with India, is an indication. Because what is it that Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau constantly said? He said there were credible allegations. He never said there was credible evidence. This is the point that India's envoy is making, Sanjay Kumar Verma is making, that at the behest of a high-level official, a statement was made. No credible evidence was ever shared with India, and now when directions come from right from the top, can the probe ever be impartial after this stage? So this is an indication where India is telling Canada that they've bungled up very majorly in the Nijjar killing investigation. At the same time, India does not want India-Canada ties to be impacted by this. India wants Canada to return to the negotiations table for the free trade agreement. And even yesterday, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar said that room for diplomacy is still there. The window for diplomacy is open. So now the ball, once again, is in Canada's court. Aishwarya.
Right, Gaurav, one of the things which India now India is very clear about is the fact that we are not a pushover, and these kind of allegations cannot be made without substantive proof. We are also seeing how our External Affairs Minister has not been mincing words and very clearly also going ahead and saying that you are not under the garb of free speech can you abet terrorism.
There have been multiple instances where Canada and countries in the West have displayed double standards. And External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that he has a simple smell test for these countries. He said, would they like what is happening to Indian diplomats in their countries? Would they like the same to happen to their diplomats in India? For example, you have Indian diplomats, their pictures, their mobile numbers, their details given out in public domain, their posters put up, putting a bounty on their heads. So would Canadian diplomats, for example, be comfortable with the same happening to the Canadian High Commissioner in India or top Canadian diplomats in India? And if India does not get a response to that here, it is an indication that this is not free speech and Canada is following double standards. Multiple such instances. For example, you have a very vile man called Gurfatwant Singh Pannu who's threatening Air India on the 19th of November onwards, telling Sikhs not to travel by Air India. Now, is this free speech, especially after the Tanishq bombing in which 320 people were massacred when that aircraft took off from Canada? So, and the Canadian government, incidentally, it was Justin Trudeau's father, Malcolm Trudeau, who was Prime Minister of Canada at that time when India repeatedly sought security and double screening for Air India Tanishq. It did not happen then. Will action be taken against Gurfatwant Singh Pannu either by Canada or by United States of America? Now, that remains to be seen, or Western double standards get exposed once again, Aishwarya.
Thank you, Gaurav. My colleague, putting everything in perspective. The Indian High Commissioner to Canada, Sanjay Kumar Verma, has now reiterated New Delhi's stand with regards to the diplomatic standoff. He's now urged Ottawa to release evidence backing up the allegations that Canada has been making with regards to the death of Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar.